Absolutely. Here's a powerful and deeply convincing opening segment in the voice and motivational style of Eric Thomas, designed to grab the audience from the first second and compel them to listen to the entire speech. Change the way you see yourself. Opening speech, Eric Thomas style. Listen to me. This ain't just another speech. This ain't just motivation. This right here, this is a wake-up call to your soul. Because some of you out here, you've been looking in the mirror and seeing a version of you that was shaped by pain, shaped by failure, shaped by what they said about you, not by what you're capable of. You've been moving through life like you're average. You've been walking with your head down like you forgot who you are. I'm not here to hype you up for 5 minutes. I'm here to help you change the way you see yourself, so you can change the way you live forever. See, you ain't stuck because of your potential, you're stuck because of your perspective. You've been living in a cage that's been built by fear, doubt, trauma, comparison, and you never realized the door's been open this whole time. It's not locked, it's not sealed, it's not bolted. It's your mindset that's holding you back. But today, right now, we're about to break that chain, we're about to shatter that false identity. Because once you stop looking at yourself through the lens of your flaws, once you stop seeing yourself through the eyes of the people who gave up on you, and you start seeing yourself through the eyes of purpose, through the eyes of grit, hunger, and faith, you become unstoppable. So don't zone out. Don't touch that phone. Don't scroll away from this moment. This ain't background noise. This is your breakthrough. Because if you stay with me through this entire message, I promise you, the person who walked in here won't be the same one who walks out. Let's get it. You are not your circumstances. Let me say that again so it sinks deep into your spirit. You are not your circumstances. I know what they said. I know what you've been through. I know what the statistics say about people who come from where you come from. But I need you to stop allowing your environment to tell you who you are. You may have been born into chaos, raised in dysfunction, surrounded by struggle, but that's not who you are. That's just where you started. And just because that's where you started doesn't mean that's where you finish. Some of y'all been carrying labels that other people gave you since you were a kid. You're lazy, you're not smart, you'll never be anything. And without realizing it, you started building your identity around that noise. But you gotta hear me on this. The most dangerous lies ain't the ones the world tells you. It's the ones you start telling yourself. You look at your bank account and say, I'm broke, so I must be a failure. You look at your grades, your job, your body, your past, and say, this is all I'll ever be. But none of that is truth. That's just the echo of pain and fear. Let me give you something real. Circumstances can shape your path, but they don't have the power to define your worth. Only your decisions do that. It's the choices you make in the dark when nobody's watching. It's the decision to keep going when quitting feels easier. It's how you respond to failure that shows the world who you really are. You want to know the difference between the person who makes it and the one who doesn't. It's not money, it's not talent, it's not luck. It's the decision to not let circumstances win. You gotta stop using where you come from as a crutch. You've got to stop telling the same old story about how things didn't work out, about who hurt you, about what you didn't get. I'm not saying it wasn't real, I'm not saying it didn't hurt. I'm saying that you've got something greater inside of you than the pain behind you. But until you stop identifying with the pain, you can't walk in power. You gotta say to yourself, yeah, this happened, but it's not who I am. Yeah, I failed, but I'm not a failure. Yeah, they left, but I'm not unlovable. You hear what I'm saying. The only one who gets to define you is the one who created you, and he didn't put you here to blend in and barely survive. You are not broken. You are not too far gone. You are not behind. You are not your mistakes. You are not your trauma. You are not your losses. You are not your fears. You are not what they called you. You are not what they did to you. You are not what you did in your worst moment. You are what you decide to become when you choose to rise anyway. And you can rise, you can stand, you can build, you can become something that doesn't even look like what you've been through. You gotta stop being loyal to your limitations. Some of y'all are more committed to your excuses than you are to your destiny. It's time to shift. It's time to flip the switch. I don't care what you've been through. I care what you're willing to do now. I care about the decisions you're gonna make when you walk out of this room. Are you gonna keep letting your past be your blueprint, or are you finally gonna design something new? You get one life, one shot, one opportunity to rise up and rewrite the whole thing, so when the world tries to put you in a box, you don't have to fit. When life tries to break you down, you don't have to fold, because you get to decide. You get to choose power over pain. You get to choose growth over comfort. You get to choose forward over fear. You are not your circumstances. You are your decisions. Most people don't even realize they're living a life built on someone else's opinion. You walking around every day acting out a script that somebody else wrote for you. You didn't ask for it, you didn't audition for it, but you believed it. Somewhere along the way, somebody told you what you couldn't do, who you weren't, how far you wouldn't go. And you took that lie and you made it your truth. And now every move you make, every risk you avoid, every dream you shrink down is because of a story you didn't even write. But I'm here to tell you, just because they handed you that narrative doesn't mean you got. Keep reading it. Tear the page out. Set the book on fire if you have to. You don't owe anyone your obedience to a broken belief system. If the voice in your head is constantly telling you you're not enough, then you've got to ask yourself who put that voice there in the first place. Because that ain't you, that's programming, that's conditioning. That's the residue of rejection, failure, pain, and silence. And here's the truth. You've got to rewrite that narrative. I don't care how long you've been stuck in it. I don't care if you've been believing it for 5 years or 50. You've got the power to reframe the story you tell yourself. You've got the power to stop saying, I'm not smart, and start saying, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm committed. You've got the power to stop saying, I'm broken, and start saying, I've been through hell, but I'm still standing, I'm still breathing, I'm still here. Don't wait for the world to see it in you. Speak it over yourself first. If you don't see you as valuable, if you don't see you as capable, if you don't see you as worthy, then don't expect anyone else to. That self-image, that internal dialogue, it's everything. The way you talk to yourself when you fail, when you get rejected, when you feel alone, that's what defines your rise. Not what happens on the outside, but what you say to yourself on the inside. You gotta start prophesying over your own life. Wake up in the morning and say, I'm chosen, I'm built for this, I'm not average, I'm not weak, I'm not forgotten, I'm necessary. Stop waiting on someone to come rescue you with compliments and validation. That's not how champions are built. You build yourself by saying it even when you don't believe it yet. You say it until your actions catch up. You say it until your mind gets the message. Because when you change the words you speak internally, you change the identity you walk in externally. And don't get it twisted. This ain't about lying to yourself. This is about uncovering the truth that life tried to bury under fear and failure. You're not pretending you're strong, you are strong, you just forgot. You're not imagining you're a fighter, you've been fighting your whole life. The difference now is that you're fighting with intention, you're fighting with belief, you're not just surviving anymore, you're rewriting the script so you can start thriving. And I know what you're thinking, but what if I fall again? What if I go back to the same patterns? Then you get back up. Every time you fall, you rewrite again. Every time you slip, you remind yourself who you're becoming. This ain't a one-time shift. It's a lifestyle. Every day you wake up, you have to make a conscious decision to see yourself in alignment with your purpose, not your problems. You're not weak for needing to remind yourself. You're wise. Because the world is loud with negativity, and if you don't become the loudest voice in your own life, then every whisper of doubt is gonna pull you back into that old story. So get louder, get bolder, get serious, look in the mirror and speak the future into your reflection. You want to change the way you see yourself? Start by changing the way you talk to yourself. You are the author now. You hold the pen, so write something powerful. Write something that scares you a little. Write something that sounds like the truth finally breaking through the noise. Write the story that only you were born to live. Because once you rewrite the narrative in your mind, you can rewrite the future with your life. You keep waiting to feel ready, waiting for some sign, waiting for the right moment to believe in yourself. But let me ask you something. What if that moment never comes? What if the version of you you're dreaming about, the one with the discipline, the confidence, the results, what if they're waiting on you to stop hesitating and start becoming? You don't grow into that person after the success. You grow into that person before it. You don't get to level up and then start acting different. You start acting different and then you level up. You gotta see the future version of yourself and then show up for that person like your life depends on it. Because it does. Too many of y'all are still living like the person you were 5 years ago, still making decisions based on your fears instead of your vision, still walking in rooms and shrinking when you should be owning your space, still saying one day instead of today. You think you'll wake up one morning and feel like the person you're meant to be, but that's not how it works. That version of you, the one you see when you close your eyes at night, the one who walks with fire, with purpose, with authority, that version of you doesn't wait, they build. I need you to stop identifying with your history and start operating from your destiny. There's a difference. Your history says, I've always struggled with this, but your destiny says, I'm mastering this now. Your history says, this is just who I am, but your destiny says, this is who I'm becoming. You've been letting the past be the loudest voice in your life, but the future version of you is whispering every single day, get up, keep going, stay locked in. You just haven't been listening. You gotta move with alignment. Don't just visualize success, embody it. Ask yourself, how does the best version of me wake up in the morning? How do they talk? How do they carry themselves? What do they eat, read, listen to, focus on? Then do that. Stop waiting to feel it, start living it, because that version of you doesn't come from motivation. That version is born out of intention. It's born out of sacrifice. It's born out of being so tired of living beneath your calling that you finally decide to do whatever it takes to rise up. You want to change your life, cool, but then you gotta start matching your behavior with the future you say you want. Stop walking like a question mark and start walking like an exclamation point. Stop saying, I hope it works out, and start saying, I'm going to make this work. That shift in posture, that shift in tone, that shift in effort, it matters. Because every time you act in alignment with the future you take a step closer to making it real. But it's not just about discipline, it's about identity. You've got to wake up and decide who you are. Not based on how you feel, not based on your mood, but based on your mission. The world will always try to pull you back into comfort, back into fear, back into survival. But the future you, that person is bold, that person doesn't apologize for being great. That person shows up even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when nobody's clapping, because that person understands the assignment. You've got to stop chasing outcomes and start chasing alignment. Don't say you want to be elite, then keep doing average things. Don't say you want to lead, then keep hiding. Don't say you want the crown, but then back down every time pressure shows up. Pressure is the birthplace of purpose. Pressure is where the old you dies and the new you is born, but only if you're willing to see the version of you that's already there, waiting, and go meet them. The truth is, the greatest version of you already exists, not in the future. Right now, it's already in you. It's just buried under comfort, under excuses, under fear. But when you start showing up like that person daily before the money, before the applause, before the breakthrough, That's when the transformation begins. That's when the shift becomes permanent. That's when people stop recognizing you, and you start recognizing yourself. You've seen the future version of you, now act like it today. Let me tell you something nobody talks about enough. You don't need more people clapping for you. You don't need more likes, more followers, more praise. What you desperately need, is to earn your own self-respect. You've been out here chasing validation from everybody else, but you can't even look in the mirror and believe the words coming out of your own mouth. That's the real battle, not proving the world wrong, but proving to yourself that you are who you said you are. It's easy to post about grinding, easy to tell people you're locked in, easy to talk big when the lights are on. But what about when it's dark? What about when it's 5 a.m. and your bed feels warm, and the excuses sound good and nobody's watching? That's the moment where character is forged. That's the moment when the truth gets revealed. Are you doing it because it looks good on social media? Or are you doing it because you told yourself you would? Are you doing it for attention, or are you doing it to build trust with the person in the mirror? See, the most important relationship you'll ever have in this life is the one you have with yourself. And some of y'all are in a toxic relationship with you. You say you're going to get up early, then you hit snooze. You say you're going to eat clean, then you reach for comfort. You say you're going to stay disciplined, then you compromise at the first sign of discomfort. And every single time you break a promise to yourself, you lose a little more respect, a little more trust. And eventually, you stop believing your own words, you stop trusting your own power. You start playing small not because the world told you to, but because deep down you don't believe you'll follow through. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Self-respect is not a gift. It's something you earn, one decision at a time, one promise at a time, one battle at a time. Every time you do the thing you said you would, no matter how small, you're building that respect brick by brick. And when you stack enough of those bricks, that's when you become unshakable. That's when you walk into rooms and people can feel it on you. They can feel the discipline, they can feel the work, they can feel the confidence, not because you're loud, but because you're solid. You want real confidence. Stop talking about your goals and start keeping promises to yourself. Stop needing other people to tell you you're great and start doing the things that make you feel great about yourself. You don't need applause, you need accountability. You don't need fans, you need follow-through. You don't need motivation. You need to get sick and tired of being average and decide you're done playing games with your potential. And look, I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm not saying you'll never mess up. I'm saying you have to be relentless about getting back on track. Every time you fall, get back up with more hunger. Every time you miss the mark, adjust and go again. Because this ain't about being flawless, it's about being faithful. It's about being committed to your own growth, no matter what it costs, no matter how long it takes, no matter who's watching or who isn't. You start respecting yourself when you stop negotiating with excuses, when you wake up and train even when you're tired, when you work on your craft even when you're not inspired, when you do the hard thing, not because someone's forcing you, but because you know that's what the highest version of you requires. And when you live like that, when you lock in on that level, something shifts. You stop second guessing yourself. You stop needing external validation because you know, you put in the work, you earned it. Not just the results, but the person you had to become to get them, and that's what this is all about. Becoming disciplined, becoming intentional, becoming someone who doesn't need to speak loudly because their presence is enough. Someone who doesn't wait to be crowned because they already walk like royalty. Someone who keeps their word not for applause, but because their word is their bond. So forget proving it to them, prove it to you, earn your own self-respect.